Welcome to Daily Faith in English. This video is part of our Bible study for English learners. If you would like to review this study, you can download the PDF summary in the description below. And today, our study is about the beginning, a guided study of Genesis 1 and 2. Learn the story of creation and key English vocabulary. In this study, we will explore the background story, why Genesis was written, the two creation accounts, understanding Genesis 1 and Genesis 2, our unique purpose, knowing God more and learning to love Him more each day, and finally, learn essential English vocabulary, mastering key words from the text. So, let's begin with this question. Why was Genesis written? Genesis is the first book of the Bible. The name means beginning or origin. Traditionally, it is attributed to Moses and was written for the Israelites during their time in the wilderness after their exodus from slavery in Egypt. It was written for a people needing to understand their identity. It answered important questions such as, who is our God? The one, all-powerful Creator. Where do we come from? Intentionally created by God. At the time, many nations believed in many gods. Genesis teaches that there is only one Creator God, not many. A radical declaration in a polytheistic world. And here is an important word for you to know. Wilderness means a large, dry area of land where few people live. As we now move into Genesis 1, we see that Genesis 1 shows God's immense power. He creates everything from nothing just by speaking. The chapter follows a clear pattern. God speaks. God creates. God sees that it is good. This shows that God is organized and purposeful. Creation is not an accident. Now let's look at some important words from this part. Create. To make something from nothing. Separate. To move apart or keep things apart. Firmament. An older word for the sky or the heavens. This pattern also reveals important theological ideas. Sovereignty. God creates everything from nothing. Ex nihilo. Simply by speaking. Order from chaos. He brings structure and form to emptiness and darkness. Divine goodness. His creation is declared good at every stage, showing its perfection. Now, let's see how creation happens, step by step. Day 1, light. Day 2, the expanse, sky, created. Day 3, land and vegetation appear. Day 4, sun, moon, and stars to mark time. Day 5, sea creatures and birds created. Day 6, land animals and humanity, God's image. Day 7, God rests, blessing creation. And through all of this, we see the same pattern repeated. God speaks. God creates. God sees it as good. At the center of creation, Genesis says, "Let us make man in our image." This is what makes humans unique from all other creation. Being made in God's image means we have moral understanding, right and wrong, emotions, reason, and the ability to choose. And because of the image of God, we can reflect God's character. We have special dignity and value, and our lives have a spiritual purpose. The word image means a reflection or representation. Next, in Genesis 1:28, God gives humans 4 commands: be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth, and subdue it. Now, having dominion does not mean destroying the earth. It means acting as responsible caretakers, such as caring for creation, governing with wisdom, and using resources responsibly. Let's look at some important words for you to know. Be fruitful, to produce good results. Multiply, to grow in number. Fill the earth, to inhabit the world. Subdue it, to bring under control with responsibility and care. As we move into Genesis 2, we see a more personal perspective. Genesis 2 gives a closer, more personal view of creation. Instead of just speaking, God gets personally involved. He forms man from the ground. He breathes life into him. This teaches that human life comes directly from God. We are both physical, from the earth, and spiritual, from God's breath. Before we continue, let's learn some key vocabulary from this part. Dust, fine, dry dirt, or soil. Breath of life, the special life that comes from God. Spirit, God's presence and power. Genesis 2 shows a close and personal description of our beginnings. Intimacy, a close-up view of God's personal involvement with humanity. Provision, God actively provides a perfect environment and purpose. Relationship, the focus shifts to the connections between God, humanity, and creation. Then, we see that God placed man in the Garden of Eden to cultivate it and take care of it. Work existed before sin and was designed to be good, productive, and purposeful. The word cultivate means to prepare and use land for growing plants. Soon after, yet in the midst of all this goodness, God declares something to be not good for the first time. He says, "It is not good for man to be alone." This reveals that relationship is not optional. Companionship is a core human need. So God creates the woman from the man as an equal companion. The term helper signifies a partner of equal strength who supports and walks alongside. With that, God also teaches us about the purpose of marriage, established by God as a divine institution of unity, one flesh, partnership, and relationship. The unifying truths of Genesis remind us that God made everything with purpose and intention. Humans reflect God's character. God works with divine structure. God desires personal connection, and humans have a divine responsibility to care for creation. The heart of the story is who God is and who we are. God is the creator of everything and the giver of life. He is also a God of order and purpose. and at the same time, a personal and relational God. Because of who God is, this means that life has meaning. Humans have value and dignity. Creation has purpose, and God desires a relationship with us. Now, think about these questions. Try to use the new vocabulary in your answers. What does stewardship mean in your life today? What does being made in God's image mean for how you see yourself and others? What does Genesis teach us about God's desire for relationship? This concludes our study for today. If you want to grow even more in God's Word and in your English, remember to subscribe, like this video, and download the free PDF in the description to continue your study. May God bless your heart and guide your learning. See you next time.